Yay! That happens so easily today. Sometimes getting online can be really testing. Can really test your buddhahood. Hi everyone, My Zen Warrior here. Well, it has been such a fun time. I don't even remember the date of my last post. We've been doing, I have a team working here now, which eventually means we will be doing more on YouTube. And Rumble and a few other places as well. And we're just sort of getting the flow going with all the social media stuff. It's not like the old days, I don't think, not that I was there so much, where you kind of just start something and as it got momentum, you grew with it. You really have to hit the ground running in some respects. And so we're trying to work out what our relay team is, who's going to pass the baton between certain things, because still got to eat, right? And I have a couple of meetings coming up today, which will be super cool, where we're looking at buy me a coffee things and stuff like that. So for those of you that want to support the channel, you can support the channel through buy me a coffee. You can also support the channel right now by clicking like and subscribe to the video, or to any of the videos that you like. I am also really, really happy to receive dislikes. You may not like my answer, I will warn you, but that is a conversation I'm really willing to have here. So, relationships, aren't they fun? You've decided to have another relationship. You've decided to blow up your latest one. Or even better, you're sitting here fuming about how the last one fell apart. And when I talk about relationships, I want to extend the invite to all relationships, not, I don't care what your preference is, first of all. It's not my concern. Second of all, relationships with your mother, relationships with your father, relationships with your siblings, relationships with your friends. Let's have a look at, or let's discuss how we go out into the world expecting. I had a really cool conversation the other day with one of my clients, and her question was about her sister. So she's in a situation where she's the younger one, and her sister comes into town every now and again, makes no attempt to catch up with her, and she actually has a young toddler, not the sister, the client I was talking to. And she's quite upset by the fact that the sister makes no attempt to build a relationship with her new nephew. And I'm sure this is a story that it's not the first time that this has occurred, right? That someone doesn't partake in a relationship that we perceive that they should. Anyway, it's quite upsetting for her. It's not the first time we've actually discussed the problem. And I totally understand where she's coming from. Absolutely, I can understand why you would want the people that you love and you want to be loved by, and I think that's quite key here, in your life, to make an effort. And she asked me a question, and it was golden. She said, I kind of know, like, she's a smart woman, and she's self-reflective, as are all of my clients on some level, or eventually are. And she goes, isn't it reasonable to expect something of my family? I'm laughing because my response to her was no. You are not entitled to expect. As soon as you expect, a couple of things happen. But the first thing that happens is you're taking your need and putting it on someone else. That's problematic to begin with, because in that moment you become irresponsible. It's now their responsibility to look after you. And you didn't even ask them if they want to. Just because they're your family, or just because they're the husband that you married or the wife that you married, doesn't mean that they're responsible for your happiness. And as soon as you put expectation out there, you are literally saying to the world, I'm going to wait for you to perform like a monkey before I'm happy. Abraham Hicks, who I love to listen to, talks about this really well. She talks about how we go into love relationships in particular, but relationships in general, but love relationships. And we go, well, I really kind of like you. And so I really kind of like you, almost. You're good in every way. You do all of these things. So I'm gonna, let you come and play with me a little bit, but I'm gonna keep my eye on you. I'm gonna sit here and make sure that you perform. And when you don't, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know how disappointing you are. I'm gonna let you know how unhappy I am with you. And so I'm going to take this to the very extreme, and I'm going to feel free to talk here because I dated someone who was very narcissistic. And in that time, it was very hard. And it was very hard for a lot of reasons, including the fact that I felt unsafe. Now, there is a reality there that I legitimately felt unsafe. But how much responsibility can I take for the situation that I'm in? 100%. Can 100% take responsibility for any situation I'm in. That's the truth, right? So does that mean that the person who offends my space, who threatens me physically even, and I'm not saying this person did or didn't, I'm just saying let's take it to the extreme, right? Let's say you're being threatened. Can I take responsibility in a situation for that? Yes, I can. I can take responsibility 100% for my life. Doesn't mean that person isn't wrong. Doesn't mean that person isn't out of line. That's true. That is most likely true. However, I'm responsible for my vibration, and my vibration attracts. And this is a channel that's about meditation and consciousness and discussing all these things in life. And it's really a channel about taking self-responsibility. So I want to keep it in context, okay? I'm here to talk about what we can do for ourselves. And in a situation where you're dating a narcissist, you have to take a look at who you are. And you have to take a look at what you're putting out there in the world, or what I might say is bleeding out there in the world, begging for something out there to make your life better. In the very great explanation of Joe Dispenza, we have him talk about, most people are living in the past, remembering the past, projecting it into the future. They're living here waiting for something to change outside of them before they're going to be happy. It's like, well, if you're constantly expecting that the world's going to change for you to be safe, expecting that someone's going to do something for you to be happy, expecting that someone is going to love you before you love yourself, you're going to wait a really long time. But there's magic here. Because when you turn that back on yourself and you go, wow, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to be happy. I'm going to get up today and I'm going to love myself first. I'm going to bring the love vibration in from the universe that's sitting there in its full abundance and bring it in. And how do we do this? Or sit down and we breathe and we focus here and we do the meditation. And you can find all sorts of meditations out there. We're doing a meditation course at the moment. We're into our second week. And we spend a lot of time breathing into our hearts. And this inspires me for tomorrow evening's meditation into what it's going to be, because I don't plot these things wholly, but I do have an idea of what I want to share with people from my experience for what's worked for me. And I've spent, I was born into this life in a privileged sense because my parents were rebellious. And they were both in Zen traditions. And then I had a guru from 20. So I have spent my 23, hang on, how old am I now? I'm 42, that's right. I've spent 22 years of my adult life, all of it basically, studying this and attempting to turn the mirror, not always well, I might add, back on myself. So how do I change my relationship? Well, believe it or not, I still have a relationship with that person I was talking about. And I have, within that relationship, it gave me a great gift because I was in chaos and I was in someone else's chaos. And as they became chaotic, I became more chaotic. And as they became more chaotic, it just, honestly, you could have seen life shit the bed. And I desperately held on to stuff. And then I was given a great blessing. I met a very good friend of mine and she was connected with Nichiren Buddhism. And it was the gift that I needed at the time to pull my head out of my ass. And so I would go to chanting, and I had a community, and I had a lot of support, and I still was going through hell. Don't get me wrong. But I found a lot of strength in doing the work every day and doing the chanting. Sitting down and meditating, yeah, it would have helped, but I didn't always have room for it. So the more active meditation of chanting was just incredibly useful. And it gave me strength, and I made myself stronger. Actually, that relationship gave me so much. Like, it gave me so much. But because I was so desperate to survive, like I was so at a rock bottom, that I had to chant and breathe and take it on myself and find my space and love myself enough to set myself free. And in that relationship, and I would say this to anyone who's in a relationship that's like that, where you're afraid you're going to get hit, where you're afraid that you're never going to get any space, where you live in fear of the phone ringing or the text going off or whatever it is, because you just desperately want to breathe out, right? That if you're in that situation, possibly the only way for it to get better for you is to get out. That is my current feeling on that. However, I think it is possible, though I wouldn't recommend this way. I think you really want to find your own space and your own strength before you stay dealing with something like that. That I do think it's possible to turn your relationship around by turning yourself around. And I've seen it in clients of mine. There are a lot of clients that I have, particularly men, but all of my clients on some level, but particularly men struggling in relationships where they're bitterly unhappy. And it seems that their wife is also, or their long-term partner is also bitterly unhappy with them. And they just seem to be flatmates in a relationship. And there's a lot of not getting laid going on in that situation as well. Now, I've had clients start to do something as simple as, and I recommend this meditation so much because I use it when I need an energy shift and I need a quick one. Sadhguru has a Kriya Yoga meditation online. It's free. It takes you 15 minutes. It is energetically transformative on every level. I recommend it. And actually, I did Nichiren Buddhism for a while, and then I shifted back into my meditation practice that I had practiced from old. And then I started doing Joe Dispenza's courses and Sadhguru's courses and all that stuff. I started refreshing everything. I started reading everything. I started very much going back into my self-development on a super advanced level. In fact, what I was doing was I was reprogramming myself to create a higher vibration in my energy so that I could have a better life. And it's so much better. And like I said, I have a relationship with that person, and that person is changing. How much they're changing, remains to be seen. That's always the case. We're organic beings. It comes and goes, right? How much they're changing? A lot. Would it be enough for me to have stayed in a relationship with them? Who knows? Who knows if at that time it would have been enough? But what I can say is that as I have changed, they have changed. Because I always had a karmic connection to this person. I recognized them the first time I saw them. It was a joy and a pleasure to see them. And it is again. That is my old friend. Which is an interesting thing to say, right? So what I'm saying to you is this. If you want to be happy, expecting yourself to be a better person, expecting the people around you to love you when you don't, expecting or ever expecting it, right? Love yourself, you won't care. You won't care if they do or they don't. You find your tribe. Expecting the world to give you money and then you're going to be happy, expecting that the new car is going to make you happy, expecting that a new wardrobe is going to make you happy, expecting that your child not making mistakes when that is what they are built to do is going to make you happy. You are fighting a losing battle. You have to bring happiness into your heart. You have to sit down and do the practice, and you have to do it. If you are in a state of expecting anything from anyone, other than to sit down and enjoy the space that you live in and to create some space for yourself so you stop going out there expecting the world to make you happy. Guess what? You might actually just get happy if you do that. You might actually just get abundant. And that's what abundance truly is. Abraham Hicks goes on to talk in that particular video, and she says this. She says, when you take responsibility for your vibration, when you start lifting your vibration up here, now when you step into a relationship, what you're going to say is, hi, I like you. And I've got my vibration under control. I've taken whole responsibility for this beautiful high vibration. Do you want to come play with me in it? I ain't got anything else to say other than that. Take responsibility for your life. Sit down, shut the fuck up, and drop me a question if you need to. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Erin Zen Warrior will be back. If you're interested in any of my courses, I will make sure for a change that I put my Facebook, my Instagram, etc., onto here. I am at Erin_Zen Warrior on Instagram. Interesting. And I'm Erin Palashik, Zen Warrior and Holistic Health and Nutrition, or something like that on Facebook. Erin Palashik, P-O-L-A-S-C-H-E-K. Yes, I am a little bit Polish. Have a great day. Signing out.